WATCHOUT version 6 has an entirely new concept called virtual displays. They are used in a variety of ways, but one of them is as a new flexible way of dealing with LED walls based on multiple LED wall modules. Such LED wall modules come in a variety of densities and sizes. The example we're looking at here uses modules of 144 by 144 pixels and with a dimension of 400 by 400 millimeters. LED wall modules can be assembled in any way, allowing for custom screen shapes. Although you are using multiple modules, they don't work as individual displays, but as a single cohesive image surface, allowing video and images to span the entire canvas. These modules cannot be connected to your WATCHOUT display computer as a regular display. There are two reasons for that. One is that they are using a non-standard resolution. You remember the modules we're looking at here are running at 144 by 144 pixels, and there is no standard display size supported by common graphics cards that has such a resolution. The second reason is that the display modules do not connect using regular connectors that are common on WATCHOUT display computers. Instead, they use their own proprietary bus system that allow the displays to be daisy-chained together. The other end of that daisy-chained cable connects to what's known as a processor. The processor maps the LED modules into its own pixel space, which is typically based on a standard resolution. So you can think of this pixel space supported by the processor as your pixel budget, where each processor provides a maximum number of pixels. The processor then connects to WATCHOUT using a standard connector such as DVI or HDMI. So here we are now in WATCHOUT trying to set up the LED wall that we were just looking at before. And I have put together a similar arrangement of virtual displays here in WATCHOUT. And if I open up one of these virtual displays, you can see it has pretty much the same settings as other displays, except that it's not related to any particular display computer. So this one has a resolution now of 144 pixels high, which was the size of the modules, and 720 wide, which is the total width of 5 modules stacked side by side as they are up here. The other two virtual displays that we have here are configured in the same way, except that they are rotated 90 degrees, so they go in the other way. But otherwise, there are 3 identical virtual displays. Now, if you play content, that content will play on those displays just like any other display that you are using with WATCHOUT. And of course, you could mask out the part of the image that falls outside the image by choosing Mask by Displays here, and that gives a more accurate view of what the result should actually look like. Now, what's the purpose of this virtual display and how does it work in WATCHOUT? Let's take a closer look at that. Let's just turn off that mode first so you can see what's going on here. What I have over on the right-hand side here is a regular display. This is a normal WATCHOUT display. It's sitting on another tier here, so let's switch over to that one so we can select it. So you can see this is a regular display. It has all the normal settings, and this is a display that could be connected to a display computer. Right now it's not, but it's a regular display, a regular 2D display. So what's special with the virtual displays that we have over here, apart from the fact that they can have pretty much any aspect ratio or any resolution, as you see that we have here, is that the virtual displays, they also appear as media elements in the media window. So looking at these displays, you can see they're called top, left, right, and they appear here as media elements, which means that anything that appears on one of these displays, say the left display, that shows up as part of this media. So now what would happen if I take this media and drag it onto the real display is that you can see this part here appearing now over here. So if I start playing this, you can see that the left-hand side here is showing up on this virtual display right here. So it's both a display and a media element at the same time. Any pixel that hits this display will become part of this media elements. You can think of it as somewhat similar to having a real WATCHOUT display that feeds out on a display connector. Then you take that display connector and just loop it back into a capture card, and this is your capture card. This is capturing what goes out to that display, except nothing goes out and nothing goes in. This is all internal within WATCHOUT. Okay, so now what's the point, and what is it we are trying to do here? Well, we had this LED wall, and as you recall, we need to connect that to the real wall through the wall's processor. Now, the wall's processor takes a standard signal such as an HDMI or a DVI, so we need to output a standard resolution to the processor, and that essentially gives us a pixel space into which we can position the modules in any combination, really any way, shape, or form that these modules can be fitted into this pixel space, because the processor is then going to take those pixels and put them right back where they're supposed to be along this structure that we have here. So what I've done here is that I've taken these the outputs from these virtual displays by dragging in these media elements that correspond to the displays into this area here, but you can see they don't really fit, so we can't put them in the same way. We have to rotate them so they actually fit, and you can see that coming right up here. I've done a little animation here so you can see how we are actually fitting those pixels into the pixel space that we have here. Now, if we output this standard 1920 by 1080 display to the wall processor, the wall processor can take that apart and put it right back onto the wall. So that's one important feature of the virtual displays. Another equally interesting capability of virtual displays that we will look at separately in another video later is that they can also be used as textures for 3D objects. I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek of what that means right here. So we have a setup sitting over on the right hand side here. Let's zoom out here a little bit. Control Shift and I click here, and that allows me to zoom out, and then I can pan by pressing Control Alt on the keyboard. So I can see one of the three strips of LED wall modules over here. Now, if you want to visualize the what the wall is going to look like, you can actually use these displays that we have captured through the virtual displays, and you can use them as textures for these 3D objects that I put together here. You can see them also here in this little preview that we have here. Right now, there's nothing on this. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take the right-hand display from the virtual display, and I'm just going to put it onto that part of the wall. And you can see now that when we run the show, not only do they appear here on the real output, but they also appear on the structure that I built here using a couple of 3D elements. And now you can use this as kind of a visualizer, so you can move around, you can look at the wall from the behind and from the front, and you can do a little animation. You can use that as a way for you to visualize the end result for your client. So that's virtual displays and some of the applications that they can be used for.